Okay, for this project, I'm going to be using a size J. It's a 6mm crochet hook, and I'm using just regular Red Heart Super Saver 4-ply worsted weight acrylic, but any 4-ply yarn will work just fine. And I'm going to be using 2 strands of yarn at the same time, so I'm pulling from the center and from the top of the same spool of yarn. Using 2 skeins is going to make it, or using 2 strands is going to make it a little bit, it's going to make it stronger and stiffer. So you want to go ahead and start out with a chain of 4. 4. And then we're going to form a ring by slip stitching into the first chain. And we want to do a chain of 3. That chain of 3 is going to count as a double crochet. And we're going to need a total of 12 double crochets through the center of the ring, counting that chain 3. So I'm going to go back through my center and I'm going to do 11 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's my dog scratching at my door and crying. 8, 9. Okay, I went ahead and let my dog out, and then I went ahead and finished my 12 double crochets, counting the chain 3. So what we want to do is slip stitch into the beginning chain 3 in the top stitch of it. Make sure you're getting both pieces of yarn, since we're using 2 strands at once, like that, and that will close that round out. And this circle in the middle, if you want to pull your tail really tight, usually that'll make that center a little bit smaller to close it up. Now we want to chain 3 again, and again that's going to count as a double crochet. Counter's all dirty. And now this time around we want to put 2 double crochets in each stitch around. So we want to go back in the same stitch that we just slip stitched into and put a double crochet. So counting that chain 3, we got 2 double crochets in that same stitch. Now we want to go right over here to the next one and put 2 more, like that. Now we want to put 2 in each one all the way around, and at the end of this round you need to have 24 double crochets. So I'm just going to continue around. Made it back around, you want to go ahead and slip stitch into the top of your chain 3. Close that round out. Now you want to chain 3 again. 2, 3. Now this time around it'll be 1 double crochet and then 2 double crochets in the next. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets in the next. So this counts as our first one. So we're going to go into the next stitch and do 2 double crochets. And then 1 double crochet into the next. And then 2 in the next. And then 1. And then 2. And you just want to repeat this back to the beginning. Into that third round, go ahead and slip stitch into the top of your chain 3. Close it out. Chain 3 again. This time it's 2 double crochets in a row, and then in the next stitch it'll be 2 double crochets in the same stitch. So this counts as 1 double crochet. We'll put 1 double crochet in the next, and then the next stitch will have 2 double crochets in it. One double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, 1 in that one, 1 in that one, and then 2 in the next. And then 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. 1 in that one, 1 in that one, and then 2 in the next. So you just want to repeat this pattern back to the beginning. Round again at the end of my 4th row. Slip stitch into my beginning, chain 3, chain 3 again. This time it's 3 double crochets in between each of the increases. So this counts as our first double crochet. We're going to double crochet in the next, and then double crochet in the next, and then the next stitch is going to be our increase with 2 double crochets in the same stitch. 2, and then we want to put 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then 2 double crochets into the next. 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then 2 double crochets into the next stitch. Want to repeat this all the way back around, and then slip stitch into your beginning chain 3. Finish that, and that is 5 rounds, and this is going to be the bottom of the bag. And I'm going to quit. I think that's big enough for me. But if you want to make your bag bigger, depending on however many Legos your child has to carry around in it, you can just keep going around and around, adding 1 more double crochet like we've been doing until you get your circle as big as you want. And then once you get it as big as you want, this is what we're going to do now. We need to, where we just slip stitched, we want to go back into that exact same stitch and do a single crochet. Like that. And now I'm going to be doing 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around. And now I'm just going to be doing a continual round of single crochets. I'm not going to stop and slip stitch at the end of each round anymore. So you're going to need a stitch marker to keep your spot. I'm just going to go around and around, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch. So let me go ahead and get back around to the beginning, and I'll show you where to put your stitch marker and how to get started. Okay, I've been doing my row of single crochet, and I'm coming back to the beginning to where I did my very first single crochet. So I'm just going to make it back around. And here's the beginning where I did my first single crochet. What I want to do, I'm not going to slip stitch or anything. I'm going to take a stitch marker. I'm just going to use this piece of yarn. I'm going to put it right here in between the last stitch I did and the very first stitch I did. And now I'm just going to go right on over to the very first single crochet I did and single crochet in it. Like that. And I'm just going to continue going around doing 1 single crochet in every stitch. And then when I make it all the way back to my stitch marker, I'm just going to move it up and continue around again. I'm just going to keep going around and around doing rows of single crochet. And I'm going to do this till I get the bag as tall as I want it to be. And I'm not quite sure how many rows I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and finish, and then I'll let you know. But you can do, if you don't have to do as many as I do, you can do as many as you want. But I'm going to go ahead and finish mine. I did a total of 15 rows of single crochet, but you can definitely do more if you want it taller. And I made it back to my stitch marker. So I'm going to move that stitch marker, and I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into the next stitch. And then I'm going to go into the next one and slip stitch again. And that kind of just evens around that a little bit. And now we can clip our yarn, tie off, and hide our tails. Okay, now I'm going to put a top on it. So I still have 2 strings on my hook with the right side of my work facing me. I want to be working in the back loops only. So I want to go into the back loop, go through that slip knot on my hook, do a chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to work across doing 1 double crochet in each stitch, but I'm just working in the back loops of each stitch. So just going to back, only the back loops, not going through the whole stitch like that, going through the back loops. And I'm going to do this all the way around. And by going in the back loops, it's going to put that ridge on the front. So let's continue that all the way back around. Getting it all the way back around, after doing the double crochet in the back loops there, you'll have that ridge. You want to go ahead and slip stitch into the beginning, chain 3. Now this time around, we're going to be working in the both loops, just like normal. So you want to chain 3. And we'll go ahead and double crochet into the next stitch. We're going to go ahead and double crochet into the next. It's going to be 4 stitches in a row. So counting this, that's 1, that's 2. We need to go ahead and do 3 and 4. And now we're going to decrease over the next 2 stitches. Double crochet, decrease. So we'll go ahead and yarn over and go into the next stitch. Draw up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2 loops. Yarn over and go into the next stitch. Draw up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2. And yarn over and go through all 3. So that's a double crochet, decrease. So now we want to go ahead and do a double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we will double crochet, decrease over the next 2, yarn over, go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2 loops on your hook, yarn over again and go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2 loops on your hook, and then yarn over and go through all 3. That took 2 stitches and that made it into 1. Now we want to do a double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then double crochet, decrease over the next 2. Yarn over, go in the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2 loops, yarn over and go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2, and then yarn over and go through all 3. And now we want to do a double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. So we're just going to repeat this pattern back to the beginning. And just slip stitch into my beginning chain 3 and tie that off. And I have my tails here in just a little bit. And I'm going to set that piece to the side. And now I'm going to make some eyes. And I'm using 2 strands of yarn again. And I'm going to start with a slip knot on your hook. Do a chain of 4. Slip stitch into the first one to form a ring. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we need a total of 12 double crochets, counting that chain 3. So I'm going to go ahead and work 11 more through the center of my ring. I'm going to go ahead and count that. Chain 3, we need 12. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 9, 10, 11, and 12. Slip stitch into the beginning, chain 3. Like that. You can pull your tail to make your center circle smaller. And go ahead and clip a long tail to sew it on with. And you need to make 2 eyes. And now for the mouth. Again, I'm going to use 2 pieces of yarn. And I'm going to start with the slip knot. And I'm going to go ahead and chain for however long I want my mouth to be. Let me check here. Okay, I'm going to start with a chain of 21. And now I want to single crochet in the second stitch from the hook, and then I want to single crochet in every stitch for the length of the chain. Your chain, you want to clip a long tail again, so you can sew it on. And I'm going to sew this stuff on using my yarn needle. So go ahead and find the front of the bag, whatever looks the best to you. I'm going to kind of flatten it out like this. And I'm going to set my pieces on here how I want them. Remember, this is the brim of your bag, so I won't put it that high, but. And if you want, you can pin them down. But to sew them, I'm just going to load up both pieces of the end of the string, or the end of the yarn on my yarn needle. And then kind of just going to cut the tail. What I'm going to do with this other tail, instead of sewing it in, I'm just going to tie a little knot in the back of it and clip it short, and then just sew it on. Or sewing it, it'll be underneath, so it ain't going to come undone, but okay. And I'll just tuck it away underneath here. And all I'm going to do is go around sewing my piece together. Sew it on. I'm just going through the front of the bag. I'm not going through both pieces, but. And then back through. Kind of get your stitches as neat as you can. And just go around and sew the whole eye on, and then you want to go around and sew your other eye on. just like that. Get your other eye sewed on. And the same for the mouth, so you can determine if you want him smiling, but I'm probably sewing him on kind of like that. One more thing I'm going to do before I sew the handle on is I just put a little reflection in his eye. I just got one, and you don't have to do that, but I got one strand of white yarn, and I'm just going to just manually sew it in however you think it should be. Just a couple little spots. Not very good, I guess, but oh. And that's kind of like that, just to give his eyes a little bit of a reflection. And then you can hide these tails. Okay, now I'm going to start on a handle. I'm using 2 strings again. You can make any kind of handle that you want. I'm just going to make a simple basic handle. And I made a chain for as long as I wanted it. I did a chain of 55. And now I'm going to do is double crochet in the 4th stitch from the hook. And then I'm going to double crochet in each stitch along the chain until I get to the end. And I'm just going to make one handle. But you can definitely do 2 handles if you want, or you can do any kind of handle you want. I'm just doing a simple one since this is going to be for my kids. They just something easy for them to carry along with. So I'm going to go ahead and work this to the end of the chain. Maybe. One double in each stitch. Got my handle made. I just went ahead and sewed it on. Really simple. Just I gotta hide these tails, but I just used my yarn needle and sewed it on both sides. And that's it. That's all I'm going to do this bag. And I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And check me out on Facebook. And until next time, have a good night.